Hi, so there's been a lot going on sim racing wise this week, so I thought rather than do a shed load of videos, it'd be easier to put them all together in one and have a kind of a roundup of what's been going on and just talk a bit about what I've been doing as well, just in case anybody's interested or missed any of the news. So first thing I want to kick off with news-wise is that we've had another Project Cars 3 developer blog drop. This is the second one that's dropped, and I'll drop a link to it down in the description. And they're mainly talking about handling this week. Now, there's no major revelations as we had last week with, the fact that there was no pit stops, no tyre wear, locked core temperatures, that kind of stuff. You can see my other video on that and comment on that one. This one is actually mainly good stuff. So, first of all, the only bit I'm a bit unsure about is with regard to assists. So ABS, stability and traction control, those kind of things, they are saying that they're now more effective, better aligned with how the systems work in real life, which is good. But they do go on to say, and this is the bit that worries me, is they say, keep the assists off and you'll be welcome to the kind of driving simulation fans of the franchise expect. Except that's not quite true, because in the original and in PC2 we had the option of selecting authentic, which meant that if a car in reality has these aids, we get them as well. And that's really important for GT3 class cars where they do run traction control and ABS in real life. So I'm hoping we actually still get that on, off and authentic option within this. And the way it's worded here, it's not clear. There's then a load of stuff they go through. Particularly of interest to me is they've actually put some flex in the car's driveline. So basically how it goes from the crank to the gearbox to the drive shaft to the axles. And they put couplings in there that gives it flex that you would have in reality. And they're saying that that's improved how the tyres react and how the vehicle reacts in a positive way. Which, if that's the case, that's really good news. Which is, it's kind of tempered by the fact, however, that, they're putting in all of this new good stuff, but they've removed some of it. So it's kind of like they're geeking up the physics and the sim in one area and knocking it down in the other, which is kind of where I get that feeling that, where is Project Cars 3 going and who's it actually being aimed at? Because it's got all this good stuff that appeals to the physics geeks and other stuff that doesn't really appeal to the more casual market they're trying to attract. So it's still, to my mind, a bit of a confused product in regards to that. They do also talk about better gamepad implementation, and they say they actually went right the way back, ripped it all out and did that from scratch, which will be good if that's the case, and an improved force feedback system, which is going to require less messing around and less tweaking, which is good if they get it right. So there's some overall really good news in the dev blog. There was also what appears to be a new potentially point-to-point location. Looks a bit American, so it's another fantasy location, and it looks also like Koenigsegg are also joining the stable of cars, as we do have the new Koenigsegg in there. So follow the link and go and take a more in-depth look and a good read, and let me know what your thoughts are with regard to this down in the comments. Now, excuse me, I'm just going to take a sip of beer. I have a nice grapefruit lactose sour on the go at the moment while I do this. Now, in other Project Cars related news, and this one, I've not seen this reported anywhere else, but it would appear that certainly on console, so PS4 and Xbox, that the original Project Cars has been delisted. It and all of the DLC have been removed from both the Xbox store and the PlayStation Store. No idea why. Not, as I say, I've not seen it reported or picked up anywhere else. I've only really picked up on it from a post actually over on the Project Cars forums, and nobody else has said anything outside of a couple of people and myself. I've discussed it over at GT Planet with a few people, and that's where I got the confirmation it's gone from the Xbox Store as well. So bit of a weird one, that. It's a shame. I still think the game and the title has got some miles left in it. It's got some plus points over Project Cars 2, and with 3 coming along, it seems a shame to remove that, but it's gone for whatever reason. Then we obviously have Formula 1 F1 2020, the 70th edition, being released next week. I'll actually be picking up the Schumacher edition, so I'll be playing it from the Tuesday, and I've got the Friday off work, so I'll be giving it a good hammering then. And they've dropped the features trailer for it on YouTube. Again, I'll stick a link in that down the bottom. And the features list basically covers the kind of new stuff that's going into the title, because most of what we've had now has been around the new tracks. So Hanoi and Vort have been in there, and showing off a few of the tracks and things like that. They have put out a previous video on the create your own team function, which does look quite interesting, and they've previously announced things like split screen racing and a 10-year career. Other stuff that's mentioned on the video, you can customise your Formula 2 integration, so you can either just have the 3-event teaser that we had last year, or you can go into a partial or even a full-blown F2 season before you move into F1 if you want, which is nice because it does add a bit more depth and variety to it. You can play around with the F1 season itself, so you can choose from a short, medium or full length season on there. And they've played around with how the calendar and everything works and put contract negotiations in there too. In terms of gameplay stuff that they've put in there, ERS now doesn't require as much pissing about as it did previously, now allowing you basically now just to have an ERS overtake button, which is a welcome change, and something I know a lot of people have been calling out for. You now have a virtual rear view mirror in there as well, which is great. Other things that have been hinted at before, which is good, is there's new casual racing options, and this is something that really SMS and Project Cars 3 should have looked at, because the way they've done it and integrated it into F1 2020 looks the right way to do it, giving people the kind of options they want rather than removing stuff that your core base wants. So that's quite good. It's opening it up to a lot more people and making it a lot easier. My personal hope for F1 2020 is that they tidied up the physics. I tend to agree with Jimmy Broadbent. I don't know if you've ever heard him mention that he doesn't think aero actually exists in F1 2019, and all it really does is increase the tyre grip, and I would have to say I get that general feeling myself. So we'll see what improvements they've made around the physics side of things. And then lastly on there was some kind of weird battle pass type thing that appeared with kind of like podium celebrations and race suits and stuff like that appearing on it. So we'll see how aggressive that is when it comes out. Hopefully not too aggressive. And finally, on the news side of things, sticking with the Codemasters theme, they've also, and again link down the bottom in the description on this, they've put out the car classes for Dirt 5. Now, Dirt 5 was a title I wasn't particularly looking forward to at first because I wasn't a big fan of Dirt 4. Then I found out that effectively the former Evolution studio is pretty much behind this, so I'm hoping that this will be kind of Dirt crossed with Motorstorm, which has actually made me pick up interest in it in quite a big way. So you've got all of the car classes, not all of the cars. So we've got Cross Raid, which is kind of SUVs bumped up for off-road use, sorry, not SUVs, trucks, so race Touareg and stuff like that in there. Rock bouncers, which are like rock crawlers effectively, big suspension, big wheels, get over rocks with them. Formula off-road, which we're familiar with from the past, rallycross, classic rally, and then 80s and 90s rally in there, modern rally, rally GT, so you can tell the bits that are kind of inspired from the rally series in there. Sprint cars, which are, if you're not aware of them, those mad things with huge wings that and massive engines that race on dirt ovals, short ovals, so they're quite interesting. What they're calling pre-runners, which are road-going SUVs turned into off-road vehicles, so stuff like the Aston Martin DBX and the Cadillac Escalade are in there. Then unlimited class trucks, so these are the big trophy truck type things, so stuff like the Jimco Unlimited's in there. Then super lights, which are small, lightweight, stuff like the Ariel Nomad. And yeah, I'll provide a link to it, and there's quite a lot going on there, which is quite interesting. And then finally, really finally this time, because I completely forgot about this one until a moment ago, Ride 4 have just released one of their Inside Ride series, which they do with most of their titles, episode 1, which again I'll link down the bottom, and that's quite interesting because that looks at how they've improved the capture process for the bikes, with, I think they're saying 97% of them now being either laser scanned and or CAD models used for them. Improved sound capture and improved physics and aero for the bikes. Now that one's still quite a while off, as is Dirt 5, but it's well worth a look. So yeah, that's a quick roundup of what's been going on really in the kind of sim and racing world this week. I've mainly been playing Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is absolutely brilliant, and I'll probably be doing a follow-up video on that now I've had more time with it to talk about what I like and what I don't like with that. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me for this roundup. If you found this useful, please do like and subscribe, and if you want to see more like this, just hit the bell and you'll get notified when anything pops up. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, take care, bye.